Could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Nathan Blake, former Welsh international, former Premier League and Championship footballer.
Uh, As a former footballer, a black one,
Hmm.
are you familiar with black football achievements outside of Europe?
No, not really. I wouldn't say there's much written, or you'd have to. I mean, with the internet now, you could probably search a lot, but again, you wouldn't know how accurate the stories were. So I would say outside of the UK, really, yes, maybe stories like Ruud Gullit, or you might get George Weah or something like that. But there's not much scope for learning or understanding anything about African football, to be honest with you.
So, if I was to talk to you about May the 1st and May the 3rd of 1926, would you know the significance of that?
No, none whatsoever. No.
Right.
Maybe Cardiff City lost the FA Cup, I think, in 26 and won it in
I think it was
1927.
27.
They won it in 27. I think they lost it in 26, something like
Yeah,
that. So,
you may well be
yeah,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
What it was about is that was the first ever Gossage Cup, the first international tournament in African history, and it
Okay.
was between Kenya and Uganda. The first match on May 1st ended in a 1-1 draw, and the second, Kenya won 2-1. It is now the CECAFA Cup. Were you aware of that at all?
No, 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 not at all. Not at all. So is that officially Kenya won the first ever international trophy of African countries then?
Significant one, yes. There
Yeah,
may be
yeah,
unofficial ones. This is the first official.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It was
Yeah,
a British firm that
that well, that's
sponsored it.
surprising. That's surprising because you don't get I didn't think Kenya were big in football. Get this impression in the UK that Kenya is all about athletics
Mm.
and not so much football. So that's a that's a nice fact to know. Yeah.
Well, I will send you later some
Mm.
photographs of the
Okay.
ground because I want you to see the state of this ground. Now,
Mhm.
bear in mind, it's 100 years old, so don't be
Yeah.
expecting it to be refurbished Millennium Stadium standard or anything like that.
Well, I played at Burnden Park at Bolton, and that was uh, a bit rickety, shall we say? So
Well, what
I'm not expecting Wembley.
okay, what I wanted to ask you was now that you know this
Yeah.
event, that this led to one of the major tournaments in African history,
Yeah.
how do you think this should be celebrated? Because this is not just a useless anniversary. This is 100 years. It's the centenary.
Well, I think when you look at what's happening in the world today with football and the way it's, how widely it's spread across the world and how it's televised in so many different countries, I think anything that is a significant moment, you should be looking really to celebrate it and make a big deal of it. Like I just said, like if you would ask me who were the first African nation to lift a major cup, African Cup, I would have probably bet in, maybe Cameroon, maybe Nigeria. I wouldn't have thought of Kenya. So with the amount of African footballers in the Premier League and across Europe as well, uh, I think more and more Caribbean and African culture are not just speaking up, they're showing their significance and, how important they've been to the game. And I think anything that's as significant to that should be hugely celebrated, really and truly, because the world should know about it, the footballing world. And listen, Kenyan players, African players, they can all get behind something like that and be proud of it. So, yeah, I think yeah, any big deal, you know. like I just mentioned, I know Cardiff City won the FA Cup in 1927, right?
Mm.
But I don't know nothing about my own culture from Africa and being even I didn't even know about the tournament. So that says a lot.
Well, what we're looking to do with the Kenyan Federation are thinking about is on the first, people will gather the celebrated guests that they want to invite, which includes yourself,
Hmm.
and they want to have an under 20 combined under 20, under 17 teams of Uganda and Kenya playing against either the Juventus African Academy or a Legends sort of team. We'll basically organize something so
Mm.
that it becomes worthwhile for teams to come and watch, and a Legends match, which again will either be an African one or black European ones, and there'll basically be one set of matches on the first, then they'll rest, and then on the second, they'll be shown bits of Kenya. They'll be taken to the ground, the Landi Mawe, as it's called. They'll go on a safari and some sort of sightseeing around Nairobi. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get to the Rift Valley and back because it's a 4 or 5 hour journey one way.
Mm.
And the next day, there'll be another set of matches, the same, and it will end with a gala dinner. And the idea of the gala dinner will be to raise some funds to commemorate this event, to look after elderly players, because there's pretty much nothing. Because as you said, Kenya's known for its athletics, it's not really known for its football.
Yeah.
Well, the football people want to change that,
Mm.
but they also need to help the elderly ex-players who never managed to earn anything from their sporting prowess, and we basically want to help them and essentially make sure we can sort this out. Obviously, now it's a little bit more difficult than it should be because this should have been done earlier. But unfortunately, it's just been delayed until now. That is what we want to do. Does that interest you?
Oh
That
yeah,
kind of
most definitely.
commemoration?
I was actually going to say, do they have academies and things set up in Kenya?
They don't have as many as they should, but this is one of the reasons we all wanted
Well, I
to
would,
invite the
yeah,
Juventus Academy.
I would say to the federation and the government, if you don't, I'd be more than willing to come back and forth and help set
Mm,
those sorts of things up. I've got a lot of experience with friends who have worked at places like Chelsea Academy.
mm,
Another one is in, um, been in Turkey and now in Saudi Arabia. So, you know, I've helped a lot of people with background stuff. So yeah, I say it because the amount of African footballers coming from, your Cameroons, your Nigerias, your Ghanas, is huge.
mhm,
And, it's got to be beneficial to the country, not only to have, be part of the world's biggest sport, but also academies where, you can link them to British clubs and stuff like that, or send players to British clubs, European clubs, you know, um, Saudi Arabia, places like that now, America.
mm,
I think a country like Kenya, and with its attraction, right, as a country, a basic country, what it has, it's like a Garden of Eden. So, I would say I'd be more than happy to do something, yeah, to help create a sort of a professional vibe where scouts can come in and look at players or whatever. I think it's missing out on an opportunity, a financial opportunity more than anything, and a career opportunity for players.
I will introduce you to my contact in the Kenyan Federation. I have some in the Ugandan as well who are, we're hoping, either going to be the sort of opponents or participants in this as well. So it may well be you get the double opportunity of not just Kenya, but Uganda as well.
Hmm.
to talk to. Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I think for me, it's how can I put it without sounding controversial? I just think, it's been so long that ourselves, our black people as a culture have not been in control of our own destiny, if you understand what I
Mm.
mean. And I think this sort of thing, having sort of the Federation of Kenya, Uganda, support this sort of thing to really implement, that sort of structure of academy football right through to the professional game, and then being able to raise money and help people of the older generation who've now retired. I think it's a marvelous opportunity. And it'd be my first time going back to Africa, which is important. So, yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about the Gossage Cup itself, the anniversary, and the opportunity that commemorating it provides?
All I'd say is I'd like to see it on. I'm not a massive social media person, right? But I'd like to see African players celebrating it on social media. Maybe if someone scores a goal and they lift their shirt and they've got it, because you got to think between African and Caribbean footballers, they dominate a lot of the clubs now, and they have done for probably the best part of 30, 40 years. It's just so obvious now. It's you can't not recognize it. So, like I said, celebrating something so significant and pushing it out to the wider world is huge.
Okay. Nathan, thank you very much.
Thanks, Satish.